Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that thinking, actual reasoning, has become a commodity you can purchase. Not human thinking, but artificial thinking. A resource you can buy in precise quantities, like electricity or water. What if corporate boardrooms were suddenly debating how much thinking they could afford to give their AI assistants? What if developers had to decide whether their applications deserve the luxury of deep reasoning or just quick, reflexive responses? This isn't science fiction. As of this week, we've entered a new era where machine cognition is now officially a metered utility, and the implications for your future are profound. Welcome to AI Odyssey, where today we're exploring something genuinely revolutionary. Google's release of Gemini 2.5 Flash, the world's first AI model that puts a price tag on machine thinking. To understand why this matters, think about how we've approached artificial intelligence until now. Traditionally, when you interact with ChatGPT, Claude, or earlier versions of Gemini, you're getting whatever level of reasoning the company decided to build into the system. It's like buying a car where the manufacturer decided how powerful the engine should be. One size fits all. But what Google has just done flips this model entirely. They've separated the thinking capability from the basic operation of their AI and made it adjustable and separately priced.
In AI from the very beginning is that we always viewed our mission as a timeless mission. It's to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful.
It's not just a technical change, it's the beginning of a fundamental reorganization of how we value and distribute machine intelligence. On April 17, 2025, Google launched Gemini 2.5 Flash with what they're calling a thinking budget, a mechanism that lets developers specify exactly how much computational power should be dedicated to reasoning through complex problems before generating a response. Think of it this way. When you ask a person a difficult question, they might pause, consider multiple angles, work through potential solutions, and then finally give you an answer. That internal deliberation process, that's what Google has now isolated and made adjustable in their AI. The pricing structure tells the real story. When using Gemini 2.5 Flash, you'll pay 15 cents per million tokens for input, but for output, there's a striking difference. 60 cents per million tokens with thinking turned off, jumping nearly 6 times to $3, 50 cents per million tokens with reasoning enabled. This price difference reveals something profound about artificial intelligence today. Genuine reasoning is computationally expensive. It's the difference between a quick reflex and a carefully considered judgment. But here's what most people completely overlook. This isn't just about pricing. It's about making artificial intelligence's internal processes visible and controllable for the first time. Until now, AI models have been black boxes. We input a question and get an answer, with little insight into the thinking process. Google's approach allows us to see and adjust that process. The thinking budget can be set anywhere from 0, essentially turning off deep reasoning entirely, to 24,576 tokens, enough for extensive deliberation on complex problems. And crucially, the model decides intelligently how much of this budget to use based on the complexity of your question. So what does this mean for you personally? Consider your job first. If you work in any field that requires analysis, problem solving, or complex decision-making, this development directly impacts your professional future. We're entering a world where organizations will make explicit economic calculations about which tasks deserve deep machine thinking and which don't. What happens when your company decides that certain decisions you currently make deserve only zero thinking? AI, while others warrant full thinking. AI assistance? How does that reshape your role? For students and knowledge workers, this could be incredibly empowering. Imagine having an AI assistant that you can dial up to maximum thinking capacity for your most complex challenges, helping you work through difficult calculations or analyze complicated texts, while using a lighter, more cost-effective mode for simple tasks. But there are darker possibilities too. In a world where thinking is explicitly priced, will we see a new kind of digital divide? Will premium reasoning become a luxury good, available only to those who can afford it? while budget-constrained users make do with more reflexive, less thoughtful AI assistants. The computational cost of careful consideration. Pause for a moment and really think. How would you feel if you knew the AI helping you with a medical question or financial advice had its thinking capability limited to save costs? What level of machine reasoning would you demand for different aspects of your life? Industry analysts see this as a turning point in AI commercialization. As one technology strategist put it, Google is essentially creating a market for cognitive depth. They're acknowledging that not all AI tasks require the same level of deliberation, and they're allowing businesses to pay accordingly. The benchmark results provide another lens. Gemini 2.5 Flash scored 12.1% on humanity's last exam, a rigorous test of reasoning and knowledge. That outperforms Anthropic's Claude 3.7 Sonnet at 8.9% and DeepSeek R1 at 8.6%, though it falls short of OpenAI's recently launched O4 Mini at 14.3%. What these numbers tell us is that Google is achieving competitive performance while introducing this revolutionary pricing model. They're not just changing how we pay for AI, they're delivering strong capabilities while doing so. AI economists point to an even deeper implication. We're seeing the beginning of a genuine market for machine cognition, where different levels of reasoning will be applied based on the perceived value of the task. This could accelerate the development of AI that truly understands when deep thinking is necessary and when it isn't, a crucial step toward more human-like intelligence. As someone who's been closely following AI developments, I believe this thinking budget concept might be the most consequential change in how we deploy artificial intelligence since the rise of large language models. It's not just a technical or pricing innovation, it's a fundamental reconceptualization of machine intelligence as a variable resource. What excites me most is the transparency this brings. For the first time, we're acknowledging and exposing the fact that AI reasoning isn't magic. It's a computational process with associated costs. This demystification could lead to more thoughtful conversations about what we want from AI and what we're willing to pay for. But I'm also troubled by the potential for a two-tier AI ecosystem. Will we create a world where the wealthy get thoughtful, deliberative AI while everyone else gets quick, reflexive responses? The social implications could be profound, especially as AI becomes more deeply integrated into education, healthcare, and other critical domains. My hope is that this model leads to more efficient allocation of AI resources, using deep thinking where it truly matters and simpler approaches where they suffice, ultimately making powerful AI more accessible to everyone, not less. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this development. If you had access to Gemini 2.5 Flash, what tasks would you allocate maximum thinking budget to, and where would you dial it back to save costs? Do you find the idea of paying explicitly for AI reasoning capacity disturbing, or do you see it as a natural evolution of how we use technology? And perhaps most importantly, if thinking itself becomes a commodity with a price tag, how does that change how we value human thinking and reasoning? We're witnessing the beginning of an economy where thinking itself, albeit machine thinking, has become a quantifiable, purchasable resource. This isn't just about Google or Gemini 2.5 Flash. It's about how we as a society will value and distribute cognitive capabilities in the age of artificial intelligence. The decisions made today about how we price, allocate, and control machine reasoning will shape the future of work, education, and perhaps even human cognitive development for decades to come. The question isn't whether AI will think for us, but how much thinking we'll give it and at what cost. Thanks for journeying with AI Odyssey, where together we explore tomorrow's intelligence today.